Hello everyone, welcome to a Get Ready With Me that's going to be a little bit different from the usual, but I have gotten some comments saying that some of you would enjoy, seeing me just like hanging out, getting ready, but also me talking about a specific subject, and I can do that. So I already have my foundation on just because I am filming a separate wear test for that today, but I need to put the rest of my makeup on, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And as I do that, as I'm sure you've already read in the title, I'm going to be talking about someone that has kind of been a big topic here on YouTube as of late because he's disgusting. And the fact that YouTube continues to allow to give this man a platform to make a living on and all of that, it's pretty contradictory, especially considering their new anti-bullying policy here on YouTube being enacted in 2020 and everything. So, as I said, you'll probably already know this guy. His name is Greg, but he goes by his username Onision, and he's been on YouTube for quite a while now. I mean, for as long as I can remember anyways, and I hate saying this, but I used to like watching his videos. I did. Especially the ones where, and I hate saying this, but the ones where he would rate people's bodies, and by people I mean mostly underage girls. Backtracking just a little bit further here, a lot of this has been brought up mainly because a lot of the victims of this man and his now husband, used to be wife but now husband, Kai, formerly known as Lainey, formerly known as Taylor. It can get a little confusing if you don't know all of this, but I feel like most people do know about the situation anyways. But my brother is a huge fan of To Catch a and Chris Hansen in that, and he was recently talking to me at a family holiday get-together because 'tis the season for family get-togethers, and talking about people who, I can't say the words what they are or else YouTube will get mad at me. Starts with a G. It is also a place of work for some people for dogs and cats. Rhymes with boomer. Yeah, okay. He's one of those. He's also the kind of person that likes dating and touching underage people. That's... And a lot of us here online that have watched Greg in the past, I don't know. I think it was a weird blind eye kind of a thing that we turned to him. I also think it kind of had to do with the fact that a lot of the people that did used to watch Greg here on YouTube. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but my brother loves Chris Hansen, and so he was telling me that Chris Hansen is on YouTube now and that he was doing this big expose on a YouTuber and I should watch it, blah blah blah. So I did. It ended up being Greg, and I was kind of like, ugh. And I'm watching all these things and all these accounts from all these victims, which kudos to the victims here for coming out and speaking out and everything. That is beyond brave and amazing. But yeah, I feel a lot of people, myself included, who, well, I don't know how old I was when I was watching Greg. Maybe my early 20s, so I certainly wasn't underage by any means. I think I would have been in college. In any case, I feel a lot of us who used to watch Greg in the past were younger girls, impressionable, looking for validation, and coming from a guy that was decently attractive enough. I don't think, well, now that I know more about him as a person, I don't find him attractive at all in the slightest, but when you don't know anything about him, he's got a good head of hair, he's got pretty eyes, that sort of a thing. He's outspoken, just gives off that I don't put up with any BS kind of attitude type of a thing. I don't know, I mean, you know what I mean? When you're having body issues or just self-identification issues in terms of you're trying to figure out who you are as a person growing up and whatever else, you a lot of the time will try and seek validation from the people that you're attracted to, because you're okay, I'm attracted to them, so clearly they're a good role model or a good person because I like them, so I would like to be like them. See the line of thought there? And at the time when watching these videos where he would essentially ask for people to send in their photos with consent, because asking for consent and getting consent from an underage minor, redundant there, but you know, getting consent from a minor is totally consent, right? Defeats the purpose. You can't give consent as a minor. Yeah? Okay, anyways. But to give consent to have him in a video where he's making money because, you know, YouTube, and that's how Greg used to make a living. And here, I'm gonna stand in my underwear and you can rate my body in front of the internet. And as I said, at the time, for whatever reason, this didn't seem creepy, and I think that that partially has to do with that I myself was seeking validation, so I could be like, okay, yeah, look at their body, compare it to mine. If he doesn't like their body, then he wouldn't like mine, or if he likes their body, then he would like mine, etc., etc. You know, like, it was just that validation seeking, which, like, now as an actual, like, better equipped in the mental health department anyways adult, I can now see how horribly destructive that is for the people that were watching these videos, myself included. You know, just that whole comparing thing, it's just gross. Not to mention, just because one guy likes or doesn't like a certain body type on a girl, who cares? Especially when that guy ends up being a, how can I say the word? Starts with a P, and out in the wild, if you are not the prey, you are the deter. Predator. Yeah? So basically Greg was making a living off of preying on the vulnerability of minors. Wow. Stand-up gentleman right there. And it just, like I said, it gets to me so much now thinking back on it, because now I can see it from a different perspective, and I just see how utterly disgusting it was that he did that. Because, you know, in my mind I was just like, what? He's just being honest. He's just sharing his honest opinion, and, you know, he's right. That girl was overweight, or that girl did have a perfect body, or whatever. Like, what's the harm in him sharing his honest opinion? A lot was wrong with that. While I don't think it's possible to say that he caused any EDs in people, like, it doesn't matter. He still exacerbated the symptoms, or in any case just made a bunch of people feel like utter crap about their bodies. And then, as I said, tried to cover it up by saying he was just being honest and these people asked for my opinion, so, like, why not? And, like, well, yeah, that is a legitimate way of thinking. It still also means that you're just a garbage human being. Lots of opinions are asked by many people on the daily. It doesn't mean you should be an a-hole just because you can be. Just the way that these people in the photos were being objectified by him, you know, like their heads cut off, and it was like just focused on their body, in their underwear, in their bedroom, where they're the most vulnerable and private. Because, you know, like, sorry about the plane noise, but, you know, just how he would try and defend himself. As I said before, well, they consented, they asked for my opinion, but also throwing in, like, well, A, you can't tell what age they are based on these photos, and, you know, them in their underwear is no different than them in a swimsuit. It is different. Yeah, it's showing the same amount of skin as a bikini would, but it's different. The fact that they were in their underwear in their bedroom, that's such, like, a sacred, like, private, vulnerable space for anyone as a person, you know, just, like, so personal, rather than at the beach in a bikini where, you know, everyone is going to be seeing you like that. It's just a completely different setup, and it just makes it all the more gross, at least to me. And then, like I said, just the fact that they're asking for a stranger on the internet to objectify them. And this isn't me victim blaming at all. Like I said, I was in the same boat where I was like, I never considered sending in my picture because I'm way too insecure and would never want that out on the internet, especially because, like, me and my feelings or whatever, it was just like, I already know what he's gonna say about my body. I don't need him to tell me in front of the internet and have all the internet agree or whatever else. But it just, like, it makes me so sad to know that there's so many people out there, myself having been included, that really do look to the validation of people that they don't even know to say, you know, like, yeah, your body's good, or no, your body's ugly type of thing. We as women, and more unspecifically as people, you know, we are so much more than our body and how our body looks and whether or not our body is attractive to someone on a sexual level. There is so much more to it. But yet these videos are just teaching people, especially those vulnerable, susceptible people, that no, it's their body that matters. You know, it's their body that makes a difference, whether or not they're attractive or not as a person. It's what makes them valuable. It's what makes them sexy. It's what makes them healthy. Because, you know, a lot of the time he would go on about how, you know, if you would just go on a diet or if you would just do this or whatever, like, I can tell you're unhealthy by looking at your body. Greg, you have no idea. You are a 30-plus-year-old man making money off of humiliating underage girls. Ew. Ew. And then also just like going on about, like, there has to be some kind of a legal loophole or something that he went through based on where he lives or something, because how is it that he openly was able to start dating an underage person and then marrying them not too long after? I think at the time Lainey, as I said, now Kai, I think at the time she, now he, was 17 when they started talking, which that's a whole nother thing that I find gross and disgusting, that he would prey on one of his fans, well, many of his fans, to get them into his home and into his life and into his bed and whatever else. Like, how has there has to be some kind of a loophole somewhere that he jumped through, that he was able to, or is still able to, talk about how he was in his late 20s, right? Or in any case, mid-20s. He was overage and she was underage at the time. How is it that he didn't get in trouble for that? I don't get it. I do not get it at all, but I guess I'm happy that, you know, the FBI and stuff is on it now and is investigating, and I refuse to watch any of Greg's videos that are him going nuts now, you know, just trying to grab or get the last cash grab that he can from his YouTube channel. But as I said, I just don't understand how he's even allowed to still have a YouTube channel, especially with the new anti-bullying stuff going on YouTube, when most of his videos, I feel like, used to be about bullying, and mainly bullying people about their bodies and their body types and how their body looked, under the guise of, whoa, I just want to help, you know, if it had to do with Eugenia Cooney, which was so obvious he was doing it not to help her, but because he wanted to use her name in a video to get clicks. Like, it just grosses me out when people try and, like, look like a good Samaritan, when in reality, scum. Absolute scum. And again, I know I keep going back to, like, the whole consent thing, that, oh, well, they asked for it. I feel like, especially when it comes to, like, the body justification or the body validation seeking that came with those photos and, like, rating people's bodies, I feel like him saying that they asked for it, so of course he made a video, would be the same as, like, anyone that was, like, a drug dealer, and if an addict went up to them and asked for drugs, and then he provides them, you know, sells them to them, but then he gets caught, and then him trying to explain himself being, well, they asked for the drug though, so why wouldn't I supply it to them and then profit off of it by taking their money to give them that drug? I did nothing wrong, they asked for it. Like, no. Because seeking that validation is like a drug, you know? It's that adrenaline rush, that high that you get off of someone that you admire, find attractive, whatever the case was. You know, just the fact that he was at the time kind of an internet celebrity. And so to get that validation from him, like, that seeking, that behavior is very typical for many people who not only do have EDs, but also just kids and teenagers in general, you know? Whether it is about your looks or just yourself as a person, just that looking for validation is so huge that it just grosses me out that anyone would try and actually do make a good profit off of going after that. Does that make sense? I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people, or the majority of people, are in the same boat, that we think he's a disgusting human being, and there should be some form of action taken to not only get him off of YouTube, but also get him, like, I don't know that jail is the actual best thing, but like, how does this guy have kids? Which he does. Like, how does he have 2 kids and living in the same house, and to have these girls that, weren't they all underage when they went to his and Kai's place to live with them or stay with them, however you want to phrase it? And like, it just kills me that I can so clearly remember when Billy, right, she had the blue hair, when she came out with that video where she was calling Greg out and saying that she wouldn't get the tattoo of being a liar or whatever tattooed on her because she went and smoked while staying with Greg and Kai, blah blah blah. Like, I remember watching that video, and I guess I wasn't deep enough into it to know who this girl was. Like, I had no idea who she was. I wasn't that deep into Onision because I've never found his, you know, like comedy sketch videos and stuff to be funny or anything, so I would just watch the videos, as I said, about rating bodies because that was my own sick disease. But, you know, I remember watching her video when it came out and being like, who is this girl? Who cares? Like, what's the big deal? Blah, 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 blah. And so now to like actually see what was going on and to hear what was going on and to hear her actual like recounting of the story and stuff, and was it Shiloh that was like having episodes and stuff in his house, in Greg's house? Wasn't it seizures? Oh boy. I hope I'm not painting a horribly incorrect picture, but where she had like amnesia and all of that. I remember watching those videos when they would come out and not thinking anything of them. And it scares me to be able to like think back and be like, I didn't think anything of it. And a lot of the internet didn't think anything of it. I mean, that's why nothing had happened until now when all of this is coming out again or resurfacing, whatever. Like, that's so scary to me that something can be so out in the open and yet so many people are just completely blind to it. Like I said, myself included, myself very included. It just feels so gross. I mean, I am glad that, you know, something is being done about it now. That's great. But it sucks that it took so long, especially because it's gonna make it harder, I'm sure, to actually do anything against Greg in a court of law. But I'm really glad that Chris Hansen has stepped in and made a lot of this more out in the light, and so that a lot of us can become informed or can become re-informed, and that hopefully something can be done about it. He is, or he has been, a bully on the internet for a very long time, and something should have been done about it a long time ago. And I mean, as I said, not only was this happening on YouTube, but then it was also happening in real life in his home. People being preyed on and victimized, and oh, it's just so sad. And like I said, the thought that there are kids in his home while all this is happening is just bull. So yeah, anyways, my friends, I think that's that. Overall, I'm just sharing my disgust, like many people are here on YouTube nowadays, my disgust with everything that Greg and his husband Kai are doing and have done in the past. My disgust at my ignorance in the past. I hope that something is able to get done, period. Just at all. I guess time will tell. Here is the final makeup look for anyone who was here for the makeup. I don't know, was anyone here for the makeup? But yeah, I obviously did eyeliner and mascara and stuff off camera because we all know I can't talk while doing those things. It just gets way too messy. But I think the look turned out alright, you know? We got some purples, maroons, and blues. I love that kind of a color combo. I think it's really pretty anyways. Tried out some products I've been meaning to try out, and now I know I can declutter them because I didn't think they were very good, like the maroon eyeliner and the maroon mascara that I feel like you can't even really see. But either way, here we go. Here's the makeup. That was the video. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed this kind of a format of getting ready while talking about one particular subject, especially pertaining to YouTube news, since we are all YouTube fans here, right, watching. Now I certainly do have things to say today, although I would like to try and stay out of like petty drama as much as I can. You know, if it comes to a topic like this one, I can definitely talk about it and give you guys my perspective. Not that my perspective is anything different or special, but it is what it is. So if you did enjoy this video, definitely, as I said, let me know in the comments. Also let me know what different topics you might want me to talk about. You can also let me know if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, whatever the case may be, by giving it a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe. You can tippity tap that notification bell down below. You can become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!